commissioners, community leaders, and local officials. Dear friends and colleagues, if I had stood before you like this some 12 years ago, I should not be talking of a comprehensive partnership with the United States. At the time, authoritarian Indonesia has a gaping democratic deficit. In the midst of the Asian financial crisis, we suffered a negative GDP growth of some 13.5%, and also we were undergoing some difficult social turmoil. But today we have a new Indonesia. We have launched and sustained an era of reformasi. Some 250 million people today enjoy rights and liberties they were once deprived of. We have demonstrated our resilience as a nation, tested by man-made as well as natural disasters. Having made our democratic transition, we are conscious of the significance of being recognized as the world's third largest democracy. A living proof that democracy, Islam, and modernization can flourish together. Our democracy is delivering socio-economic dividends to our people. Thus, when the global financial crisis struck in 2008, sending the world economy on a tailspin, the Indonesian economy actually grew by 6% that same year and by 4.5% in 2009. It is expected to grow by 5.5% this year and by 6.4% next year, the third highest growth rate among G20 countries after China and India. Our non-oil exports were valued at $100 billion last year. Our foreign exchange reserves have reached an unprecedented high of $78 billion US, while our debt to GDP ratio went down to an unprecedented low of 27.8%. Our poverty rate continues to decline. Our credit rating keeps rising. Agriculture being the backbone of our economy, our food security continues to strengthen. These, Excellencies, friends, are the fruits of reform, the dividends of our democratic transformation. Because our people are now enjoying these dividends, our democracy is robust and made more durable. Our national unity is strengthened. As a nation, we are more socially and politically cohesive than ever before. Thus, we were able to settle the separatist rebellion in Aceh, for example, through peaceful negotiations. We have transparency in government. The democratic checks and balances of power are always at work. Our justice system has scored many notable victories against the vice of corruption. However, we are not complacent. We have to continue to invest in and nurture our democratic institutions. Not least, we are striving to ensure that there is no disconnect between our democratization and the regional environment that we find ourselves in. It is certainly not a coincidence that Indonesia's democratic transformation over the past decade has been paralleled by change within the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. In 2003, in the midst of its internal reform, Indonesia, as chair of ASEAN, purposefully initiated the concept of an ASEAN community resting on the three pillars of political security, economic, and socio-cultural cooperation. Since then, ASEAN has adopted a charter by virtue of which the member states committed themselves to adhere to democratic values and to the promotion and protection of human rights. This is clearly still work in progress. However, the trajectory towards greater democracy, not less, enhanced respect for human rights, not less, is crystal clear. Thus, in the same way that we have a democratic Indonesia, we have an ASEAN that is transforming itself by its commitment to democratic values. Friends, as Indonesia consolidates within and contributes to ASEAN community building, it is also promoting its worldview on the so-called regional architecture building. I'd like to make a few observations with your kind permissions. A geopolitical shift to the Asia-Pacific region has been quite pronounced and likely to continue as well. In the Asia-Pacific are found some of the most intriguing relationships among states of consequence whose nature will help define the type of environment we find ourselves in, whether it be benign or whether it be a threatening one. Indonesia believes that the Asia-Pacific region need not slip into a Cold War type environment of mutual suspicion and hostility. In this, ASEAN's role will continue to be invaluable. Over the past decades, ASEAN has helped shape the wider region's strategic environment by laying norms and principles for the peaceful conduct of states in the region and by a network of cooperation among countries in the Asia-Pacific hitherto absent. Today, ASEAN continues to strive to earn such central role by tackling head-on the issue of regional architecture building. The forthcoming expansion of the East Asia Summit by including the United States and the Russian Federation is one such response. For Indonesia, it is consistent with our desire to see a dynamic equilibrium in our region, a state of affairs marked by an absence of a preponderant power, of inclusion rather than of exclusion, of states working in concert, in community, sharing a common interest in addressing shared challenges, where diplomacy and dialogue are the preferred means of conflict resolution rather than the use or threat of use of force. Indonesia looks forward to working closely with the United States within the framework of the envisaged comprehensive partnership to help bring about such a regional architecture. Excellencies, friends, beyond the Asia-Pacific region, we look forward to collaborating with the United States in the reform of the United Nations that better reflects the realities of the current contemporary world. Within the framework of the G20, we will strive alongside the United States to reform the international financial architecture and give the developing world a bigger say in global economic decision-making. Together, we can help ensure that financial flows for development are not disrupted by a financial crisis and thus promote the attainment of the Millennium Development Goals. We can pursue a common advocacy for nuclear disarmament that will eventually lead to a world of zero nuclear weapons, and a common advocacy to save our tropical forests, our oceans, and coral reefs to mitigate and control the ravages of global warming. We also invite the United States to support our efforts at promoting democratic values through such endeavors as the Bali Democracy Forum, the only intergovernmental forum in Asia that serves as a platform for exchange of experiences and best practices in political development. We are ready to work with the United States in fostering peace and mutual understanding wherever there is a conflict or tension, whether the problem is the Israeli-Palestinian conflict or the nuclear issue on the Korean Peninsula. We will always strive to be part of the solution. And not least, we invite the United States to join us in our ongoing efforts to promote interfaith dialogue among civilizations as a way of building a bridge of mutual understanding and cooperation between the Western and the Muslim world. Excellencies, friends, there is so much that we can do with the comprehensive partnership, and every achievement of this partnership will send a strong message to the rest of the world that two nations, no matter how vastly different they are in their stage of development, can work together not only for their mutual benefit, but also for the good of their region and for the welfare of humankind. That strong message becomes all the more meaningful in the light of the fact that both of us, the United States and Indonesia, are vibrant democracies. The success of that comprehensive partnership will tell a great deal, not just about the United States and Indonesia, not just about the West and about Islam, but also about democracy and how it can be made fruitful for all humankind. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.